Okay, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next instalment of the Admiral Markets Trading Spotlight webinar series. My name is Paul Wallace. I'm your host for this afternoon's session, and we're here today to talk about how and when to use Forex signals. We appreciate that we're operating here in rather unprecedented and historic times. We here at Admiral Markets hope that you are all safe and well wherever you may be in the globe. I appreciate we have a global audience that join us. As I said, we hope you're all safe and well. It's fantastic that you're able to use this time to be able to engage with financial markets and to be able for us to help educate you and give you a little bit more insight into particular elements of the financial markets. So today's topic is how and when to use Forex signals. Rather sometimes controversial topic. Never let it be said that we here at Admiral Markets or in the Trading Spotlight team that never let it be said that we shy away from some of the more challenging aspects of trading. I appreciate it's a rather interesting subject matter for anyone who's engaged in trading. And what would be great to help me is you've got a chat box there, so please it'd be fantastic to hear about your own experiences of using Forex signals. I appreciate we always have a really broad range of people here joining us throughout our sessions, from complete beginners through to very experienced traders. And as I said, if you've had experience of using Forex signals, whether they be the good, the bad, or the ugly, it'd be great for me to hear it, to understand. And if you'd be kind enough just to drop that in the chat box, that would be really very helpful. Or maybe you've not had any experience, you've not even really heard of it or aware of it because you're so new to trading. That's great. Just put it in the chat box, let us know. And if you're watching this on demand later on the Admiral Markets YouTube channel or on Facebook group or on Traders Yard, joining us there, well then, if you like the session, if you find it useful, give us a like. Okay, if there are questions that you have, please pop them in there. We'll be gladly able to sort of help support you. And if you have ideas or thoughts or future topics that you'd like us to see, then please put them in, and we'll be very glad to sort of take that on board and add that to the list of topics that we can deliver for you. But we're going to talk about, as I said, kind of what's on the, what's all about Forex signals. Okay, so we're going to talk about today, what are the attractions of a Forex Signal service, and we'll talk about, what are the benefits, but also what are the pitfalls with Forex signals that many people fail to take into account. And we'll talk a little bit about, how could you help yourself make the best from a Forex Signal service. So, what I would suggest is that, I'm not going to be recommending any Forex Signal services here today. That's not within the remit of this particular session. We're just going to be giving you a little bit of insight into how they work, how they operate in the present market, and a little talk about the kind of the pros and cons. What are the benefits and what are the pitfalls that you might find yourself should you choose to sort of go down that particular route. And as I said, if you've got experience, you've got any ideas or thoughts, then please, we'd love to hear it. It's it's fantastic to get the engagement, and I think it makes for a much more useful session for people, even if those who's joining us or those watching us here on demand later on. And I see that for Robert says that that he's never used them. Robert's got a bit of trading experience, but he's never used them. Okay, and Apurva, he's actually put in there a little bit of a checklist for a signal provider, which we'll talk about later. But thank you for that. That's very good. That's appreciate that. So as always, if you don't know me, I've been trading for many years. I've worked for funds, traded for institutions, and coached traders for many years. I like to primarily trade FX indices and commodities as a dominant trend trader for a long term, and as a mean reversion or reversal trader for the shorter term trading tactics. And here at Admiral Markets, we're a broker that provide a wide range of financial instruments for you to engage with a real global reach. And we are, licensed and regulated across a wide range of regulatory environments, providing competitive spreads on the most popular products, and also allowing you to engage with markets using MT4 and MT5. If you have any particular questions, then please get in touch with your account representative, and they'll be very happy to provide you with some guidance. But today we're here to talk about how and when to use Forex signals. Okay, so as we've put there, many traders at the beginning of their trading journey like to examine using Forex signals to help their performance. For many new traders, they see Forex signals as a way to make up for their lack of skills as new traders. However, what appears to be an easy way to generate revenue in their trading business can become a minefield for many new traders. In this session, we'll discuss how and when to use Forex signals in order to make the most of these tools. So as I said, many traders at the beginning of their trading journey, they will at least investigate or research, or perhaps even, engage with and use Forex signals to help their trading performance. So, they think to themselves that, as they learn to trade, okay, as they're developing the skill sets of a trader, that actually by being able to sort of work with an established trader and follow their signals, it would allow them to earn whilst they learn, and that becomes one of the very what we say popular drivers there for people using Forex Signal Services. Okay, but as we'll show and talk about over the next few slides, okay, what appears to be an easy way to generate revenue in the trading business can become a bit of a minefield. All right, okay, there are sort of lots of pitfalls and obstacles there. Okay, and it's important for you to know them so that you're in a position to make better choices. Okay, and as with everything we try to do, with the better choices tends to become better outcomes. And so, as I said, we'll talk about Forex signals and how you can make the most of these tools and what to be aware of. As I said, we're not going to be recommending any particular Forex Signal services. Okay, that's beyond our remit, but hopefully you'll be a little bit more educated, a little bit more knowledgeable and savvy about what you need to be looking for when where you to go down this particular route yourself. So, as I said, I appreciate we always have a real broad range of people here in the room with me for these sessions, from complete beginners to very experienced. So I realise that some people, who are very new to trade, that they would be looking at this saying, well, what are Forex signals, Paul? What are that? I'm still trying to work out how to use a moving average, Paul. What exactly is a Forex signal? So don't worry, we're here to help you with that. Okay, so for those completely new to trading about Forex signals, generally, they are a system or a product that allows new traders to follow the trading decisions of an experienced professional Forex trader. That's what they should be, and that's what should be offered, and that's what you should be able to engage with. So what you'll see there is traders will normally sign up to a signal provider, and they are then provided trading signals from the company or the individual. And these days, what you find is those signals may be sent across a spectrum of means. So some may send their signals out over email. Some might use a sort of communications tool like WhatsApp, Telegram. Others, they sort of send them out through social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And it's the trader's responsibility to follow the signals every time. So, what that can mean is that, you could be sit there working away, trading yourself, okay, following your own trading system, developing your own trading system, learning about how to trade, and you might be able to get in a series of signals from your Forex signal provider that would give you particular trade ideas to follow. And we'll talk about that over the next few slides, because there's quite a considerable amount of nuances to it. Okay, it's the more you learn and understand it, the more you'll actually be able to sort of check into and understand exactly what you're signing up for and what is likely to be delivered for you. But for those completely new, it's a system or product that allows you to follow the trading decisions of an experienced professional trader. So, what become the benefits of Forex signals? How does that help traders? What becomes of that? Well, what happens is, they allow new traders, as we've said, to earn whilst they learn. Okay, lots of traders start out with the mindset of that, they're trading to earn, but the reality is that most new traders, they're setting out with the mindset of trading to learn. Okay, you're trading to learn rather than to earn. However, what they believe is that by being able to follow, a Forex signal provider from somebody else, that might allow them to earn as they learn. Okay, and it's an understandable thought process. Okay, it's an understandable way of being able to almost like hedge your bets, hedge your performance. For some people, it also allows them to have simplified trading. Okay, instead of them having to do days or hours or weeks or months of learning and of analysis, they can effectively just follow somebody else's trading signals. What it should be is that it also means is that the risk is managed, or rather it should be, okay. And this can be a rather grey area, okay. And so it's something that I can say is as a personal element that for those of you who've joined me for the Trading Spotlight webinar series, managing risk is your first job, okay. You are a professional risk manager and a speculator and a trader second, okay. And it should be an element of the Forex Signal provider. There should be an element of that management of risk in terms of where your entry is, where your stop loss should be, okay, and also what kind of risk to reward should be involved in the trade, and also what kind of position size you should be looking to place on that particular trade. So it should always be managed, okay. As I said, it should be. It also gives you perhaps a fixed schedule, which was what we'll touch on in a couple of slides, about understanding about it might be particular times of the day, the week, or the month, or even the year, depending upon your outlook on when you have to place those trades, and that would provide you a fixed schedule, which would allow people to basically engage with markets around their particular day job. It also provides early engagement in markets. Now, what do I actually mean by that? Well, it might mean that you might be spending 3 to 6 months of actually learning about markets, or actually trying to understand markets, learning, developing how to use a platform, all the different styles of trading, okay, all about risk management, all about managing money, all about managing yourself. But what actually, by being able to follow someone else's Forex signals, well, then you're getting a little bit of early engagement in the markets. Okay, you're allowing the opportunity to basically to see how someone places trades and someone follows. Okay, and actually how to deal with strings of winning trades, and also deals with strings of losing trades. And also, you would hope that some of the benefits of Forex Signals is that you are provided some support and advice, or you should be. As I said, or you should be. That isn't always the case, and as we go through the slides, we'll start to learn and understand. Well, what do we need to focus on here? What should we be expecting? Okay, what would really help us were we to go down that particular route? So, maybe some of you see that, maybe some of you, who are using Forex Signals, you might even look at that and think, well, actually, Paul, there are additional benefits that I get from it. And if there are, then great, please put them in the chat box. It helps us. I think it's great to help everybody. What we're trying to do is cover the major areas there, okay, in terms of people trying to understand what are the particular benefits. So, where can we find Forex Signals? Well, as a new trader, or in fact, as any trader, whether you've been trading for 2 days or 2 decades, you are not going to be short of Forex Signal offers, ladies and gentlemen. And I suspect you probably already know this yourself. You can find them on your MT4 and MT5 platform under the Signals tab in your terminal, okay? So if you've not really explored the Admiral Markets MT4, MT5 terminal, okay, platform, well, then basically under your terminal tab, you'll see that there is a further tab for Signals, and you can go in there, and as the little photo there shows, you can actually engage with and take on particular signals right through there, through the platform itself. If you can't, if you're not that, or if looking at elsewhere, trust me, if you Google Forex Signal providers, there will literally be thousands, okay? There will literally be thousands. And also these days, you'll find many adverts for signal service providers across all the social media platforms, okay? Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on any of the other platforms that proliferate, okay, throughout the space, you are not going to be short of finding adverts on social media platforms. So, as I said there, ladies and gentlemen, your problem isn't going to be not finding Forex Signals. Your problem is going to be finding a reliable and profitable provider that you can trust. This is the challenge, okay? And this is the element of the sorting the wheat from the chaff. It's, as I said, you will undoubtedly be bombarded, all right? You will be bombarded with all manner of adverts for all manner of providers, but it is about trying to find one that's reliable, profitable, and one that you can trust. And as I say there, take your time in deciding on one, okay? And be prepared to try several to find the one most suitable for you, okay? As there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking out trials, okay? You'll find some signal providers will offer free trials for a week or a few days. Others might provide you with a, like a reduced reduced cost provider one, and that's okay. You know, just prepared to recognize that you might have to test a dozen or so, maybe even more, to actually find one that suits you, okay, and one that you can trust and you can rely upon. Remember, this is, you know, whilst it might be someone else's signals, it is still your capital that you're employing in the market. It's still your capital, and you have to defend that capital, you know, like it is your lifeblood, because it actually is. All right, so it's a case of, you know, don't be surprised to try several. Okay, don't be afraid to ask for trials. Okay, and don't be surprised to, you know, if you do use them, to actually only employ small elements of capital until you are have confidence in their ability to deliver. So, you know, as we said, you know, we need to look about, well, you know, what do we need to take into consideration? Well, you know, what do you need to think of when choosing a Forex signal provider? And there's quite a few here. And this is not exhaustive, and there might be elements that you yourself have thought of or think that are useful to take on board. And as I say, if there are, please, you know, pop them in the chat box. We'd love to hear it. But think about these elements that you need to consider. So, what is your budget? Okay, what is your budget? It's unlikely that Forex signal providers are going to be offering you free signals. Okay, now there might be ways around that, which we can talk about in a slide or two, but for the most part, you will be paying for your particular signals. So then you have to think about, well, what is your budget? Okay, you have to think about, you know, what that will be, whether they charge you on a, you know, it might be a weekly or a monthly, a quarterly or an annual basis, you know, and is that allocated within your overall trading business budget? And remember, you know, the bigger picture is this, is that you have to think of this as a trading business. Furthermore, you know, you have to think about, well, how much of your trading capital will you allocate to following these signals? That's quite an interesting conversation, you know, you have to have with yourself. It might well be, I see some people who want to allocate 50% of their trading, you know, capital to basically following Forex signal providers. Personally, I would suggest that that is a little rash to begin with. What my own personal view here, and as I constantly say, it's all about you understanding your own risk profile. My say is that actually you actually want to be allocating very little to begin with. Okay, you have to, you know, as I've said on the previous slide, yes, you're going to have to allocate some budget, okay, and some trading capital to basically to testing out and trying a few signal providers. But equally, you know, if you find one that you can rely and trust, it is a case of scaling that slowly. Okay, it's not a case of just literally jumping towards 50% of your trading capital to go into there. That's not a terribly smart way to operate. Also have to talk about, well, what markets do you want to trade? Now, in particular, we're here talking about Forex signal providers, but these days, okay, with the plethora of trading instruments, you can find that very often they will, you know, a signal provider might provide Forex signals, but also they expand into commodities and indices and crypto, etc. You have to think about, you know, what are the markets you want to trade, and within that, okay, let's just say even we just focus primarily on FX. You have to think about, well, you know, what markets within the FX markets do we want to trade? Okay, is it actually looking focuses that where it trades the dollar, which you know, the sort of kind of the major pairs, very liquid, okay, very small spreads? Or does that provider tend to focus on emerging market currencies, whereby they may be much more volatile, may have wider spreads, okay, and also the timings within which they trade might actually not be suitable for you? So make sure you understand what particular markets they focus on. And also, do they actually focus on one or two? Do they specialize in one or two markets, or do they just try to trade a broad spectrum of markets? Next question is, how often do you want to trade? Well, so, you know, completely new traders think, well, you know, Paul, you know, I want to trade every day. I want 3, 4, 5, 6 signals every day, because the more signals I get, you know, the quicker I can start to earn whilst I learn. Sadly, it doesn't really work like that. Okay, what you've got to think about is how you want to trade. You have to think about, you know, every time you trade, you know, you are paying a fee. Okay, you have a cost of business involved, whether that be just through a straight spread, or maybe there's a, you know, a commission in a spread. But you have to understand that, you know, there will be a cost allocated with that. Okay, and you have to build that into your plan. You have to build that and understand. And so for some of you, you know, you may not actually want to be trading 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, 10 times a day. You might actually only be wanting to be trading like 2 or 3 times a month. Okay, you might actually, your frequency of trades might be much lower in terms of what you're comfortable with, and that's okay. That's okay. As I say, it's about finding that kind of space that you operate in that works well for you. You don't wish to put yourself under any undue duress or stress or pressure when you don't need to, when trying to follow someone else's Forex signals. Also, what time of the day can you follow the signals? If they send the signals to you at 10 o'clock every day, and that is when you're in the middle of your day job, well, that's actually probably going to be impractical for you to follow. Equally, if they send you them at 1 o'clock in the morning because they particularly look to focus on trading the Asian session and you're based in Europe, once again, that's not really terribly suitable, okay? So you have to work out what time of day can you follow the signals. What time of the day can you actually follow the signals whilst you're doing it, trading to learn, whilst you're trying to earn through Forex signals. And as I said, you might have other responsibilities and commitments. You might have a day job, you may have family, children, etc. You may have other, as I say, other commitments and responsibilities. So be very clear in understanding what time of the day can you follow signals and what do they provide. You also have to look at, how do they provide the signals? Okay, we talked a little bit, these days, less and less kind of like on email, but some people will still use email. Okay, what happens if that email goes into your junk folder and you miss that particular signal? Okay, what happens if you're in a trade and they send a email signal for you to get out of the trade, and that email is either hung up or doesn't come through, or goes into a spam folder? Okay, and you miss the opportunity to get out of that trade. So you have to just be aware of how they're providing the signals. If they're using phones, okay, do you live somewhere, okay, where you have good enough coverage that you can actually get a text message for the trade signal? Or alternatively, if they are using other particular platforms, maybe it's WhatsApp or Telegram, okay, or maybe even just trying to do it through DMs in Instagram, is it really robust enough way for you to be able to have, make sure you have good communications with the provider so that you are, A, you're not missing signals, but B, you're not missing any amendments or any particular additional instructions. Be very careful of that and aware of that. Another one is, do they educate you on the system? This is kind of an interesting one here, okay? This is an interesting one. There will be some people, a lot of people following Forex Signals who actually don't care about the system. They don't really care. They just want the signal and they just want to follow that. And at the other end of the spectrum is, the people who will actually want to understand how the system creates the signal. But on the flip side of that, the Forex Signal provider may actually not want to educate you. They may want to sort of keep that quite close to their chest, and that they consider it to be proprietary, and they don't want anybody else actually to understand how they generate their trade signals. The other side, there will be actually Forex signal providers who will happily teach you how they generate the signals, okay, so that you can actually understand when a signal is produced, what has actually happened in the market in order for that to occur. So you're a little bit more understanding of what is going on with the signals, and we'll come on to that in a couple of slides. And most importantly, okay, you've got to understand what is their track record, okay? And I don't mean just by understanding, them telling you over the phone or that, oh yeah, we've got a great track record, but actually, how transparent is it, okay? How transparent is it? How long does it, okay? What kind of breadth of instruments does it have on there, okay? Is there a case if they tell you they're trading just pound, dollar, and euro sterling, but actually when you look at their track record, they're just trading pretty much everything, which is just not ideal, okay? And there's reasons for that, which we will touch upon. You just want to check their kind of history of, things like, how long they are in trades, okay? How often they take trades, okay? How often is their, their win to loss ratio, right? Understanding how many sort of winning trades on the trot do they have? How many losing trades on the trot do they have? And that is a key element. How many losing trades on the trot do they have? What is their consecutive sort of losses? And we're going to touch on that in a moment to understand that. But it should be a transparent track record that you can check, that you have the ability to investigate and to do your own research on. So, we talked a little bit about, pros and cons and, how you can go about it. But, there are always the other sides. There are always disadvantages as well. There is no such thing as perfection in trading. You've heard me say it, for years now during these webinars, okay? There's no perfection. What you do is you have to learn and understand, where are the blind spots, okay? What are the cons, okay? And understand, can you work with that, or is it better that you go somewhere else? So, in terms of disadvantages we can talk about, as it says there, that there is no guarantee of earning whilst you learn, right? There you are following a Forex signal, but there is no guarantee of earning from that, okay? What it can do is it can encourage complacency in several ways. It can encourage complacency because what it does is it takes the pressure off you to learn how to trade, because you think that you can basically abdicate that responsibility to somebody else. You think that actually you'll just get somebody else, to let them do the hard work, and you'll just follow through. When that works well, but it also unravels very quickly, and that complacency can lead to people to getting sloppy, to getting lazy, mistakes get made, okay? Or it can lead to the next point, it can lead to over trading, okay? And that over trading could mean that, and I've seen it myself with new traders where they are following, 6, 7, 8 different Forex signal providers and are placing 10 to 20 trades a day. So, they are over trading. Their account is actually just, it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts, and they don't really fully understand what they're doing, and actually their results are very, very messy. Furthermore, as there is, your trading is based around someone else's daily schedule. Now, we touched on this in the previous slide about understanding when they provide their signals, and and in what medium do they provide them to you. But equally, it's all about, you are also based around someone else's daily schedule. Okay, so if you found a fantastic trader, but they are based in Japan and they only send out the signals, as I said, at 1 o'clock in the morning, that could be a challenge for you, okay? At first, you might think, well, that's okay, Paul. I'll stay up till 1 o'clock and put the signals on when they come through. I guarantee that, you'll get quite bored of that rather quickly, as probably would your partner as well. So it's, you have to take these things into account. It can also encourage new traders to run before they can walk. Okay, so what that can mean is quite a few elements. Is that a new trader sees the signal provider having some success, and it just basically it fills them with optimism and enthusiasm that they can do more. So either they allocate more capital to the Forex signal provider and actually they scale up a great deal, or they're in their own trading and they think, wow, this guy's making money, this is also easy, and they actually start to try and, as it says, run before they can walk. Okay, it sort of just it encourages a little bit of a optimism bias to kick in and cause you to get into a little bit of trouble. And finally, it can leave a new trader guessing at the trading decision. So, as we said on the previous slide, some signal providers won't teach you how they or won't share how they make their trading decisions. Others may, okay, but if they don't provide how they make their trading decisions, you can actually leave a new trader guessing at those decisions. And what you can find is that you might have all your personal analysis as you're going through is telling you that particular market is going up and you want to be a buyer, and actually they send you through a short signal because their system is telling them to be short. And that kind of disconnect can cause a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of a dissonance to occur. Okay, and that can build, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a slide or two. So, what are the long-term challenges of using Forex signals? So, while signals can help new traders to generate some trading activity, longer term, they can present some significant challenges, which you should be aware of and should consider. So you have to think about, what happens if your signal provider decides to close their business or raises their prices. It's very possible that they find that the stress or pressure upon them means that they actually they don't enjoy it, they don't like doing it, and actually they close their business down. If you've not been keeping up your trading trying to learn and understand trading, and just relying more and more on your signal provider, and they decide to close their business, well, then that becomes you're a bit stuck there. Okay, you become a little bit calmed. Alternatively, what happens if they raise the price? What happens if they believe that they are achieving some good returns, and suddenly overnight the prices of their signals quadruple? Okay, is that still a viable option for you? Okay, you need to consider this. You need to be aware of this. Also, how do you know when your signal provider is having a drawdown? Right? How do you know that? Okay, what risk balances are in play with the actual provider to consider? When they understand that they're having a drawdown, which happens to all traders. All traders will have drawdowns. Okay, it's part of that kind of trading journey. It's about understanding that when is the trader actually just having a few losing trades, or when is this part of a deeper drawdown? Does that Forex signal provider actually have risk processes in play that will enable them to effectively manage that when they are actually having a drawdown rather than just a few losing trades? It's also understanding you don't really know what's happening in that Forex signal provider's life that might affect their trading. Their trading might have been absolutely fantastic. They may have been going great guns. You may have scaled up your particular positions because you think this Forex signal provider is absolutely fantastic. But you don't realize that in that particular time that trader is having difficulties in their own personal life. They may be going through a marriage, divorce, or some issue, or there might be a death in the family or something like that, which can affect that trader immensely and will have a knock-on impact to their trading performance because they're a Forex signal provider. Okay, people are paying them to provide signals, so they provide signals and still keep trading, even though mentally they may not be in the right place to trade very well. You have to realize that and understanding what's happening in their life that might affect their trading, and do you get the transparency to see that? And you also have to make a decision at what point do you stop using the signals again? At what point do you feel that invariably the signals are no longer working for you? Maybe the market's changed, maybe that trader has changed, maybe your view of trading, how you want to engage, has changed. At what point you stop using those signals? Is there a particular cutoff point that you have to consider that would allow you to say, right, okay, we'll just draw a line under this. This is a business decision. So, what I can say is, from my years of experience of dealing with traders, is that I hear a repeated message again and again and again and again, which I'll share with you. Okay, as I said, that's the whole idea. Just to give those of you completely new, just a little bit of understanding and insight into actually how people go around Forex signals. So, as it says there, over many years of engaging with traders, I've seen repeatable experience of traders' journeys. Okay, so new trader, right, starts to use Forex signals to earn whilst they learn. Okay, they're excited, they want to learn, and they think they can take a shortcut. Think on here, Paul, I'm going to use a Forex signal provider to help me earn whilst I learn. I'm just going to follow that. Suppose a professional FX trader, that will help me make money whilst I'm still learning how to trade. What happens is that they have initial success. Okay, they have initial success. All right, they have 4, 5, 6 winning trades on the trot, and they rub their hands with glee. They think, fantastic, I've got a great Forex signal provider here. This guy's brilliant. They get overwhelmed with euphoria and overconfidence, and so what happens is they start to ramp up their position size and excitement. They start to think, well, do you know what? I have been risking just 1% on this guy's trades, but you know what? I'm going to risk 2%. No, do you know what? Maybe I'll make it 3% or 4%, because if I do that, well, then I could do really, really well down the line. They get overwhelmed, okay, by euphoria and overconfidence, right? And so, as I said, their position size increases dramatically. But what happens is then the Forex signal provider has a bit of a standard drawdown, which might consist of perhaps 5 to 10 losing trades, which can happen to all traders. Okay, anybody tells you that doesn't happen, talking nonsense. Okay, it's just part of trading. All right, it's what trading's about. But what happens is, of course, this new trader isn't used to sort of taking losses, and also because they've ramped up their position size, they're now, after 2 or 3 losing trades, they've basically eaten into all of the profits that they had accumulated right at the start. And so their confidence gets knocked. Their confidence, gets knocked terribly. And so what happens is they start to second guess. Okay, they start to second guess the actual signal provider's trades because their confidence be knocked. They probably don't understand how that provider is generating the signals. They just look at them and they just make an arbitrary decision. Oh yeah, I like that trade idea. Oh, I don't know about that trade. Or that looks a bit risky, etc. And what happens now is the trader now loses confidence in that Forex provider, and they start to cherry pick which signals to follow. Instead of following every single one, which you need to ensure that you get some consistency of output, people start to cherry pick. Well, I don't like that trade. You know what? I think I'll go for this one. I'll give these a couple of miss. I'm not feeling great about it. And all that happens is that degrades performance even further, because you know what happens? That new trader, when he cherry picks the trades, tends to cherry pick the bad ones. All right, tends to cherry pick the ones that look warm and comforting and easy. Very often they are not the trades to actually trades to be following. So I see this and I hear this story again and again and again when I've spoken to new traders. So I share it with you just in case A, you might have experienced that yourself, or B, you might be considering it. And if you start to, follow the Forex Signal provider, well, then if you start to experience this or hear this, well, then you'll realize that this is not an uncommon journey, okay? And it'll give you pause for thought, okay? It'll give you a chance and an opportunity to consider your decisions and how you want to move forward. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, using Forex signals can be very popular with new traders, okay? There's a lot of reasons why they are popular and attractive to traders starting out on their journey. They potentially offer the opportunity to earn whilst you learn, which appears to be a very sound decision, okay? It appears to be a decision to hedging your bets whilst you're starting out with your trading. And it allows the opportunity to benefit from a professional Forex trader's experience, and it does. Okay, it does. You get the opportunity to follow their particular signals and their particular insight into the markets. And the question, as we touched upon, is will they teach you how they're doing it? Okay, do you actually want to learn how they're doing it? Okay, could you use that as part of your own learning whilst you earn? There are a glut of Forex signal providers, okay? You're not going to be short of opportunities. So take your time choosing the best one for you. And we touched on there some of the things that you need to look at, okay? Some of the things you need to be aware of, some of the little pitfalls that you need to try and be able to sort of circumvent. If you use a Forex signal provider, then be prepared to follow all their signals for a period of time. And what I mean by that is invariably, you just commit to following all of those signals. It may be for a 30-day period, it might be for a quarter period, depending on how many signals they provide. But you commit to following every one of those signals, okay? You just follow every one of the signals, because that is the only way that you'll get a true understanding if that A, a signal provider works, and B, that you can follow it and you can actually trade their signals. And as I said, don't be tempted to cherry pick the supposed best signals from your provider. Okay, as I said in the last slide or two. Okay, it's an experience that lots of new traders have. Okay, there's a journey there that they go upon. All right, and I'm just giving you a little bit of words to the wise based on people's experiences. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, what you can do if you want to learn more about that, if you want to have questions about that, you can come and join us on the exclusive Trading Spotlight community. We're on Traders Yard, where myself and my colleagues, Marcus and Jens, will be there. I'll be there for the rest of the day, okay, to basically answer your questions about Forex signal providers or other trading ideas as well. Also, my colleagues Marcus and Jens, they put up some fantastic content there on a daily basis. They also have experience of Forex signal providers as well. They'll be able to give you their particular ideas and thoughts of insights. So please, feel free to come and join us. Okay, we're on tradersyard.com. You can see there, join the Trading Spotlight group on tradersyard.com/group/312. And don't forget to join us next time for the next installment of the Trading Spotlight webinar series, where my colleague Marcus is going to talk about the most important indicators for FX trading, including an overview of the top indicators you use in your trading, how each indicator works and what it tells us, and an example trading strategy using each indicator. So he'll be covering that at 2 o'clock London time on this Wednesday, the 20th of May. You should see that to the check your inbox for the webinar link, or you can sign up for it on the admiralmarkets.com website. As always, there is a wide range of analysis and education resource material on the admiralmarkets.com website. And if you want to join us, okay, you can contact us at email hello@admiralmarkets.com, or watch this or the rest of the Trading Spotlight webinar series on youtube.com/admiralmarkets or on facebook.com/admiralmarketsglobal. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that just give you a little bit of insight of elements that you need to consider were you to go down the route of following a Forex signal provider. There are some very, very good ones out there. Okay, it's a case of there are some very good ones, some excellent ones. However, it's an element of a case of sorting the wheat from the chaff. So make sure you take your time. Make sure you look for the transparency. Okay, make sure you engage with and sort of understand what you're getting yourself into, and just take your time. As I said, there is no particular rush whatsoever. So, as always, I hope you found that very useful. I wish you the best of success in your own trading. I wish you well. I hope you and your families are all safe and well. And I look forward to speaking to you on the next Admiral Markets Trading Spotlight webinar series, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.